What's going on, guys? Greg here. I got another video for you today. This is going to be the reveal for an Ultrasabers Graflex, as you can see here. Believe it or not, in 5+ years in the community, this is actually the very first Ultrasabers Flex I'm doing, or really the first Ultrasabers I'm doing at all. So yeah, just something new to do. It was a pretty easy install, pretty quick. Got this in a couple weeks ago and just kind of popped it out real fast for the customer. We went with, again, pretty basic setup. We have a single switch here in the grip section, or sorry, in the clamp section. We have a Neopixel connector in the emitter. We have a custom little Neopixel piece here that I had to 3D print because Ultrasabers is a very weird design up here. Custom chassis that I 3D printed. It's based off of my Saber Forge hilt chassis, but I had to lengthen it a little bit and I had to change a few things to get it to fit better. And one thing for the customer is just a heads up that I do have, if you look in here, and let me get my little tool to point with. If you look in the emitter, you can now see that there actually are LEDs on the pixel connector. I talked to you about which one I was going to go with, and I changed over to the Stoke one. This one is perfectly capable. It's going to be great for dueling. It's got everything, and I'll talk to you about it in person, but it's a little bit of an upgrade, so just did that for you. And then aside from that, we have an 18650 lithium-ion battery, a Proffie board version 2.2 with a bunch of really cool effects on here that I did up for the customer, a 28mm Smuggler's Outpost speaker, and that's it. It's updated with the latest firmware. This is a one-button setup. I did this with the SA22C buttons prop file, available for Proffie, and so actually on my screen behind us here, I have all of the different effects you can do and how to do it. I'll be sending this with the Saber. I'll send out like a list, a readout of the different things that this Saber can do. It does everything that you could do with a 2-button setup. There's just different ways of triggering those events. So I will be sending that with the Saber for you. So without any further ado, let's get this fired up. One little note that I was talking about with the customer is the way I did this is that the resonance chamber, the way that the speaker was hitting the pommel wasn't quite right. The way that the pommel came in and made contact with the chassis just didn't sit right. It didn't go very well. So what I did is I actually ended up printing these adapters right here, and you're going to have 2 of them for 2 different sizes. They're exactly 1 millimeter taller. This one here is 1 millimeter taller than this guy. And what they do, and put that to the side, is they sit inside of here, and then this bit butts up and around the end of the speaker like this. It fits perfectly, so when you push in the Saber, there's no rattling or anything, but additionally it creates a much better resonance chamber, so the Saber is much louder and sounds much better. So that's just a small upgrade I did. You have your full wiring here. If you need to access your SD card, you can pull off this little piece of electrical tape here. You can just unwrap it, get your SD card or your USB access, and then rewrap it up. There is a channel on the side of the chassis that allows for the tape to pass, and then you have your kill key. Toss this back in here. So I did a handful of sound fonts from, I believe it's Blue Force custom fonts, or Blue Force Customs. I forget the exact name, but they had some really interesting fonts that Brian Connor did some really cool profiles with that I kind of updated and added a couple things to that I've uploaded on here. You can't see the full effects. I say this every video, but I'm going to be doing a full blade like effect reveal for some of my favorite ones, just so it's on my channel, because I haven't actually done one. My setups are always, like this, so you don't really get the full Proffie vibes. With that being said, I believe I'm gonna go back 1 font. Dangerous. So this is Dangerous. Again, it's just one of the many fonts. I'm gonna quickly turn this on, so it's 1 button pressed on. So. As you can see, we have the full red illuminated effects in the emitter, which is awesome. Oops, sorry. It's a full hold to turn off, kind of like the CFX and how that works. Again, this is having the one button. There's a couple of changes to the config if you've had a Proffie before. If not, you're not even going to really notice. So blade pops in. You can unscrew your thumb screw here. Blade will pop in. I'm going to put it up against my chest. You'll notice because you can feel it in there. You press it down, tighten the thumb screw just so it's thumb tight, and this blade is not going anywhere. So there's just one effect. I'm going to go through kind of a handful of effects. I did increase the sensitivity on this guy. The speaker is so loud that it was actually causing some vibrations in here. So I just increased the sensitivity. You can always turn it down, I think, and I'll send the config file with you. I believe it's at 4.75 right now. It's kind of, 6 is like the max I've ever put on a Saber. 1.25 or 1.5 is the typical. So let's go to the next font. For this, it's press and hold for like a second and release to go to the next font.
Ignition.
So this one, Brian did a really, really cool ignition, which you'll kind of see some of it, but it does like a false start glitched ignition. So let's see that. So really, really cool. So all sorts of really cool effects. So there's that. I'm going to go to the next one.
Photon blade.
So I made this one a perp one. You do have full color changing on this. Yeah, it's hard to trigger, but you can get it. So it's hold and you twist the saber while it's down. It's tough to get to sometimes. There it is. So you got a full color changing menu if you want. So you can change the color on your saber. So now I think you can just press it to exit. Oh, did you do the same thing? There we go. So you can press and hold to exit the menu. And again, it'll keep that color for you. So, we'll go to the next font here.
Ignition.
Oh, sorry. If you hold, it goes back a font.
Photon blade. Proto blade.
Again, another really cool blade. It's got like kind of a white base here, and then it goes up to a nice blue blade.
Saber. Wherever you are hard to find.
This is really cool. This is Dyad by Chirophonic. And this one has like a really cool... The Saber, this one you can't tell as much, but it basically like heats up. And if you have the full blade, you'll see it's really awesome. But the whole blade kind of heats up before going to the flame effect. And then it cools down, so you'll see it's like if it was just cooling off right now. And the emitter cools off.
You're hard to get rid of.
And this is Ray's, and this one I based off of her, the Rise of Skywalker, End of Saber, or End of Movie Saber. So right now it looks more green on camera, but it is like a nice gold blade. So I don't know if there's anything else on here. Oh yeah, I tossed down the, this is a Lord of the Rings font. You can take it off if you want, but this, it won't show the full effects, but it does like a Sauron's eye effect, which is really cool.
Salzman charges.
So again, this isn't going to show the full thing because the seismic charge like goes off in the middle of the blade. But when you do it, it drops it and then it explodes out.
Seismic charges.
Brian Connor again has a video of that where the seismic charge like looks like it's dropping, and then in the middle of the saber it just explodes, and the saber does like a rippling effect out from the middle.
Empress Palpatine.
And then Empress Palpatine by KSith.
Ascension
by KSith. Which is my favorite font that he has. And I think we're back to Dangerous.
Dangerous.
There we go. So I'm going to pop the blade out now just to kind of make it a little bit easier here. Pop that out. Toss this back in here. That's really, like I said, this was a pretty easy, pretty basic install, so there's not a lot to it. Like I said, I custom designed the chassis and printed it myself. If you have a printer at home, you can print your own chassis. I have them all up on my website, so I can link that below. And then soon, in the next week or so, week or two, I'm going to be announcing kind of what I'm going to be doing for May the 4th. I have just a little hint. I'm going to have at least 2 or 3 sabers for sale. They're going to be fully installed and customized by myself, brand new, with some really cool features. All I'll say is this: for those of you who know, you know. If you don't, you don't. That's fine. That's just one small little hint for you. And then I'll be having a run of pictures as well that I got some interest in the community, where it's going to be a blueprint for the Obi-Wan Kenobi lightsaber. So take a look at my website. I'll have those up in the next couple of days. The blueprints are going to be going live probably tomorrow, and I'll make a full announcement about that. Again, so that's all I got for you. Like I said, this is a pretty simple install, pretty straightforward, so not a ton to go over here. Like I said, I hope you love it. If there's anything wrong with it, if you have any issues, obviously always give me a call, shoot me a message, and I will talk to you about this. But again, I've tested it. It's awesome. I love it. And I should do some more Ultrasabers. I haven't done that many, and I really should do some more. So, like I said, hope you love it, and I hope you guys have a good night.